The story began with a college student named Light Turner. One day, out of nowhere, he found a mysterious notebook called the Death Note. This book had a terrifying power. If someone's name was written inside it, that person would die. Soon after, Light came face to face with the Japanese death god, Ryuk Aish. At first, Light was completely terrified. The moment he saw Ryuk, he tried to run away in panic. But Ryuk had no intention of hurting him. Instead, he pointed out Kenny and his friends, who were harassing a girl nearby. Ryuk told him, "I know Kenny has made your life miserable too. If you picture his face in your mind and write his name in the Death Note, he'll die." Light was shaking with fear, but after a moment, he wrote Kenny's name in the notebook. Kenny had bullied him many times before, and deep down, Light was tired of it. Suddenly, a terrible accident happened. A falling ladder struck Kenny so violently that it split his head in two, killing him instantly. Light was horrified by what he had just witnessed, but at the same time, he now knew the truth. The Death Note could kill anyone. Ryuk looked at him and said, "You seem like a coward, and that doesn't bother me. If you don't want the Death Note, just hide it somewhere for 7 days. After that, I'll find myself a new home." With that, Ryuk vanished. Light had no idea what to think anymore, so he took the Death Note home. His father, James, was a police detective, and he immediately started asking Light questions about Kenny's death. That made Light angry. He snapped and said, "I don't understand why you waste time on things like this while real problems are still out there. We both know Anthony Scommel murdered Mom, so why haven't you arrested him? How can you let Mom's killer walk free?" James tried to calm him down, but Light kept arguing. James hated the disrespect in his tone and finally sent him to his room. Later, Light asked Ryuk, "Can I control someone with the Death Note and make them die however I want?" Ryuk explained the rules. Before death, you can control a person's actions for up to 2 days, but their death must look possible, like an accident or something natural. You can't make a shark attack someone standing in the middle of a desert. Light had already started reading the rules himself. Then he saw a newspaper photo of Anthony, the man responsible for his mother's death. Without hesitation, he wrote Anthony's name in the Death Note. Moments later, while Anthony was eating at a restaurant, a knife suddenly flew into his throat and killed him. The next morning, when Light and James heard the news of Anthony's death, both of them were overwhelmed with happiness. At school, Light's classmate Mia asked him about Kenny's death. Light liked her, so he ended up telling her about the Death Note. Mia didn't believe a word of it at first. Then during a live news report, a criminal appeared on screen holding a girl hostage. Light calmly wrote down how the criminal would die. Seconds later, the criminal released the girl and strangely began saluting. Right on cue, a police car slammed into him, killing him instantly, exactly the way Light had written it. Mia was stunned. She couldn't believe what she had just seen, and now she fully trusted the Death Note's power. She also hated people who hurt others and got away with it. Because of that, Mia started dating Light, and together they began using the Death Note to kill criminals. Light gave himself the name Kira, since in Japanese it meant killer. Every criminal he killed was left with signs connected to the name Kira, making sure no one could trace the truth back to him. Before long, Kira became famous all over the dark side of the world. No one knew who or what Kira really was. Many people even supported him, holding rallies in his name, but the police were far from happy. A secret detective known only as L hated the way Kira was murdering people, so without wasting any time, he began his own investigation to expose Kira once and for all. James had also started investigating to uncover Kira's true identity. Light asked him, "When Anthony killed Mom, you didn't do anything. But now that Kira is getting rid of criminals, why are you so determined to stop him?" James replied, "I admit Kira is reducing crime by killing criminals, but that doesn't give him the right to decide who lives and who dies. Kira cannot play judge over human lives. That's why I have to find out who he really is." As he said this, James arrived at the law enforcement department, but when he entered his office, everything had been thrown onto the floor. His desk was trashed. Just then, Detective Logina's partner Watari showed up. He asked, "Did your fellow officers do this to your office?" James answered, "Not just regular people. Even some of my own officers support Kira's actions. They don't like that I'm investigating him, so they did this. I may not be able to change how people think, but I can expose Kira for who he really is." Watari then said, "I'm sure you've heard of L. He wants to speak with you about the Kira investigation." He opened a laptop and connected them face to face. James asked L, "You could have chosen top agents from the FBI or CIA to help you. Why do you need me?" L calmly replied, "Because I trust no one else, and I believe you can find Kira. Everyone assumes Kira is in Japan, but he's misleading us. I'm certain he is right here in your city." James already wanted to catch Kira, so he agreed to work with L. Watari then took him to meet L in person. James expected to see an older man, but instead, L was a young man whose face was hidden behind a mask. Elle said, after reviewing the case, I noticed something important. Before Kira killed other criminals, he first killed the man holding a girl hostage. That tells me something. I'm confident Kira is one of your fellow officers because he has access to criminal information that ordinary people could never get so easily. Now it's your job to find out which one of them is secretly acting as Kira. Meanwhile, Mia had gathered a fan group that supported Kira and created a website. People used it to submit details about those they believed were hurting others, drug dealers, abusers, predators, and more. Light said, we can't just assume someone is guilty because their name is on a website. Someone could post their boyfriend's name out of anger, even if he did nothing wrong. We can't kill people without real proof. We need trusted sources before we act. Otherwise, we could end up murdering innocent people. Mia replied, you're overthinking this. These people must have done something terrible, or their names wouldn't be there. Stop doubting yourself. We need to kill them and change the world. But Light refused to go along with it. Angry and frustrated, Mia stormed off. Sometime later, Light got a call from Mia telling him to turn on the news. On live television, Light was openly challenging Kira in front of the whole world. He said, I know you're a cowardly child who hides in the shadows and kills people. If you have any courage at all, come face me. Because if you don't, I will hunt you until the day I die. Light's statement made both Light and Mia furious, and they immediately started thinking about how to kill him. James then asked the mysterious detective, why would you threaten Kira in public like that? Do you want to die? Light replied, as far as I know, Kira cannot kill someone without knowing both their face and real name. He needs both. If I'm wrong, then I may not survive. But even if I die, my death will still give you the information you need. But James himself knew very little. No one even knew the detective's real name. The only person James could tell him about was Watari. A few days later, Detective L assigned an officer to keep watch on Light. He had started to suspect that Light might be Kira. The moment James found out, he angrily confronted the detective. Detective L didn't care what James thought. His only concern was catching Kira. There, away from everyone, he said, we need to stop using the death note for a while. If we don't, the police will keep watching us and we could end up in serious danger. Rico suddenly said, you're thinking too hard. Just learn the officers' names, and I'll kill them for you. Light quickly told him to be quiet, which confused Mia. Only the person holding the death note could see Ryuk. Mia agreed with Ryuk and said they should write down the names of every officer and get rid of them all. But Light refused. That upset Mia deeply, and she left after dropping him back home. The very next day, 12 FBI and CIA agents mysteriously died. Some jumped off buildings, others suffered sudden heart attacks. Every news channel was reporting the shocking incident. As soon as Light heard the news, he was furious. He believed Ryuk had done it on his own. He confronted Ryuk and demanded answers. Ryuk replied, I'm not your servant. I don't have to obey you. I already told you, if you can't handle the death note, then don't touch it for 7 days, and I'll find a new owner. Light snapped back. No matter what happens, I won't let the death note fall into anyone else's hands. And if you try something stupid again, I'll write your name in the death note myself. But just so you know, another foolish human once said the same thing. He didn't survive. The truth was, Ryuk killed people through the death note only for his own amusement. He didn't care about Light or anyone else. While Light was still thinking about Ryuk, James appeared on live television speaking against Kira. He said, many people see Kira as a hero, but he is no different from the criminals he claims to punish. He murdered innocent agents for no reason at all. At first I feared Kira, but after the deaths of my fellow agents, I will not back down. Even if Kira kills me, someone else will take my place and expose him to the world. People were inspired by James's speech, but Mia was terrified. She immediately tried to write James's name in the death note to kill him. But how could Light let his own father die? He stopped Mia before she could do it and forced her to leave. Some time passed after James's public challenge, yet nothing happened to him. He remained completely unharmed. That was enough for L. His suspicion had now turned into certainty. He believed Light truly was Kira. So L went to meet Light at a cafe. He said, I know it must have been difficult for you to let your father live, but that one foolish decision exposed who you really are. In trying to save your father, you stopped caring about protecting your identity. And now I'm going to reveal the truth about you to everyone. Light calmly responded, do you really think I'm Kira? And if you know everything about me, then why waste time having officers follow me? Why not just arrest me now and end all of this? L answered, I know you are Kira. Unfortunately, I can't prove it yet, but don't be too confident. Soon enough, I'll uncover everything. And when I do, you won't escape. Light then said, what if you arrest Kira, and that power ends up in the hands of someone worse? Someone who kills innocent people instead of criminals? What would you do then? Don't you think Kira is trying to help this world? He hasn't killed any innocent people so far. Maybe instead of chasing Kira, you should help him. Then maybe you'd understand his true purpose. He pulled off his mask and showed Light his face. Then he said, right now you're scared. You're trying to make a deal with me, so I'll let you go. But I swear I will avenge the 400 people who died because of you. Light replied, you want to kill Kira yourself, yet you say Kira was wrong for killing 400 criminals. If you really kill Kira, then what would make you any different from those criminals? I don't even carry a gun. I only bring justice to people, and you will not stop me. Light had now seen Locke's face clearly, so he rushed home. Mika came to him and apologized for trying to write James's name in the death note. The two of them started working together again. Light told her, "I've seen Detective L's face. Now all we need is his real name. Once we kill him, all our problems will be over." But neither of them knew the detective's true name. So Light wrote Watari's name in the death note and took control of him. His plan was to use Watari to discover Locke's real name, and once the task was complete, Watari would die. Mia asked, "Are you really going to kill Watari just to learn Detective L's real name?" Light replied, "Don't worry, I've controlled Watari for the next 48 hours, and during that time, he won't speak to anyone except me. The moment he tells me La's real name, I'll burn the page with his name on it and save his life." Ryuk laughed and said, "Just so you know, you can only remove one name from the death note, so think carefully. Are you really going to waste a special page to save a stranger?" Just then, Light got a call from Watari. Watari said, "Even though I've worked with L for a long time, I still know very little about him. Martin Orphanage, and I've been with him ever since he left. That orphanage trains children from a young age to become the world's greatest detectives. L is the youngest detective ever produced there. His real name exists only in the orphanage records. No one else knows it." Light had no other option. He ordered Watari to go to the orphanage and find L's real name. Without wasting a second, Watari headed there. The next morning, as soon as Detective L discovered that Watari had disappeared from home, he stormed over to Light's house. James was trying to send Light and Mia into another room, but the detective stopped Light and only let Mia leave. Detective L then said to James, "I'm amazed you still haven't realized that your own son is Kira. The only reason you survived after your live speech was because he chose to spare you." James ignored him and demanded that he leave the house, but Lai had arrived with the full police force and a search warrant. He began threatening Light openly. Rick James grabbed Lai by the throat and slammed him onto a table. As soon as the officers stepped in, James let go, and the police began searching the house. Rick whispered to Light, "If they find the death note, I'll choose a new owner, and the first name I'll have them write will be yours." But it was nowhere to be found. He feared the police had already discovered it, but they hadn't, so he immediately went to Mia. She smiled and said, "Relax, the death note is safe with me. Now we just have to wait for Watari to find Lira's real name." Later, the two of them went to their college homecoming party and started dancing. Mia placed Light's hat on another guy, so the police officers watching them would lose track of who was who. Then Light quietly slipped out of the party. He called Watari and asked for the detective's real name. Watari had already reached the orphanage's secret room and was searching through the files for the detective's identity. But Detective L had already figured out Light's plan. He had sent armed guards to the orphanage in advance. Desperate to save Watari, Light tried tearing out the death note page with Watari's name written on it. But someone had already ripped that page out of the notebook. Before Light could understand what was happening, the guards shot Watari dead on the spot. Light was devastated. Ryuk burst into laughter and said, "I told you from the beginning, Mia is far smarter than you, and today she proved it." Light rushed to Mia and demanded to know why she had killed Watari. Mia replied, "I didn't kill Watari. I saved you. If I hadn't removed that page from the death note, Watari would have led the detective straight to both of us. Stop overthinking everything, and those 12 FBI agents, I killed them too. First, I controlled one agent and made him write down the names of all the others. After that, he committed suicide along with the rest. If you don't want to use the death note anymore, fine, then I'll use it myself and change the world." Light stared at her in shock and said, "Do you really think after everything that's happened, I'm going to let you keep the death note?" Mia calmly answered, "I already wrote your name in the death note. Now you're going to hand me the book, and I'll burn the page to save your life. You have until midnight." The ground felt like it disappeared beneath Light's feet. He couldn't believe Mia had written his name just to take control of the death note. Meanwhile, Detective L was terrified that if Watari had revealed his real name to Light, then he would already be dead. But when he learned that Watari had been killed, he grabbed a gun and went after Light himself. James found out what was happening and immediately sent the entire police force to stop Light. Light broke away from Mia and quickly started writing something inside the death note. But police officers were closing in, so he grabbed the notebook and ran. Suddenly, the detective appeared in his path and chased him with a gun. Light tried desperately to escape, but the detective fired a warning shot into the air and forced him to stop. Just then, a man nearby stepped in. Detective L shouted, "Get away from here! This is Kira, and he'll do anything to hurt you." But instead of running, the man attacked the detective and knocked him unconscious. He was one of Kira's supporters. Light then took Mia and rushed into the roller coaster area. He shot the control panel, destroying it so the police couldn't stop the ride. He tried one last time to reason with her. "If you take the death note, you and I will never be together again. The choice is yours right now. Do you want to stay with me or become a killer with that book?" Without hesitation, Mia snatched the death note from his hands. At that exact moment, Ryuk began using his power to tear apart the roller coaster. This was all part of what Light had already written in the death note. Mia started falling, but Light grabbed her and tried to save her. The truth was, Light had written that if Mia forcibly took the death note, it would lead to her death, and now everything was unfolding exactly that way. Ryuk slowly ripped the coaster apart piece by piece. Mia fell all the way to the ground and died. Light, however, fell into the water below and survived. The page where Mia had written Light's name burned up in the fire and was destroyed. The death note had fallen into the water, where a stranger picked it up and walked away with it. Detective L failed to expose Kira to the world. Because of that, a senior officer removed him from the Kira investigation and gave him a warning, but the detective wasn't ready to give up. He went to Mia's house and searched through her things. There, he found the torn page from the death note with Watari's name written on it. For a moment, he considered writing Light's name and killing him. Meanwhile, Light was recovering in the hospital. A mysterious man quietly placed the death note beside him and left. Sometime later, James came to visit him and handed him a newspaper article about Anthony. James said, "At first I couldn't understand how this newspaper got out of my locker. But after thinking about everything else said, I realized he was right. You really are Kira. What I still don't understand is how you did all of this." Light then told him the truth about the death note. He explained that everything that happened on the roller coaster that night had been planned through the notebook. He even admitted that while he was lying in the hospital, he used a criminal to kill several more evil people. The doctor who saved his life had also been abusing young girls and children, so Light had him killed too. Then Light looked at his father and said, "I know I made many mistakes. I thought killing bad people would fix everything. But nothing in this world ever goes the way we imagine. You were right. Sometimes we're forced to choose the lesser of two evils." As he said those words, Light became emotional. Watching all of this, Ryuk was happier than ever. He threw his head back and laughed loudly. If you enjoyed this video, then check out this next one, where a young girl's drawings suddenly come to life.